maio do ano passado, a CBS procurou a gente para falar sobre o jogo da NFL no Brasil, mas principalmente sobre a paixão do futebol americano no Brasil, né? O Brasil apaixonado pelo futebol americano. E além dessa matéria que eu participei lá do jogo em si, um pouco antes do jogo, eu pautei, indiquei, né, ajudei a produzir aí todo com a pauta uma história especial do Brasil, do futebol americano no Brasil, e eu nem pensei em duas vezes em ser o T-Rex, né, uma cidade pequena, enfim, que conseguiu os Takahashi desenvolver aí esse projeto incrível, e também o que bateu o martelo para eles foi a história do Romário. Então, assista aí com as legendas que eu fiz aqui rapidinho. Ficou sensacional. Sensacional.
Super plans for the NFL on this Super Bowl weekend. While the showcase event kicks off tomorrow in New Orleans, the league is also working on building its fan base overseas. A record 62.5 million people outside of the U.S. watched last year's Super Bowl, and the league is planning to play 8 games abroad next season. Last year, for the first time ever, the NFL played a regular season game in Brazil. But even before the Eagles and Packers took the field there back in September, Manuel Bajorquez found one Brazilian town that's already passionate about football.
Under the bright lights, with every drill, pass, and tackle, you might think this was any town USA. But listen closer.
Vamos fazer aqueles 2 grupos, aí vai grupo de cada vez.
That's Portuguese, and this is Timbó, Brazil, a community of less than 50,000, where Breno Takahashi is this team's head coach.
Here we are in this corner of southern Brazil, where you said Timbó doesn't even have a soccer team.
Yes.
But you have a team that plays American football.
Yes.
How does that happen?
My brother, he's a little outside of the box. So he had this idea before, say, I'm gonna make a football team in Brazil.
His brother is Bruno Takahashi. They come from a diverse background. Japanese descendants on their father's side, born in Brazil and partly schooled in the United States. Breno took up basketball. Bruno developed a love for football. In 2007, Bruno started a team he called T-Rex. Breno signed on. But first they had to tackle how to fund it.
Here in Brazil, it's hard to have investment in other sports, especially football. Right. American football, because people don't even know.
Right.
So
you're essentially a startup. You're starting from the ground.
Exactly.
Up.
But the brothers soon realized they tapped into a growing interest in American football. In fact, Brazil now has 2 American football leagues. Of about 30 teams in its league, T-Rex has won the national championship 3 times. Breno thinks the sport's physicality draws people in.
I think that's why some of the guys, they start loving it. But then when they understand how intellectual it is,
right,
to understand the game, so that's when things start getting very passionate.
Go! Passionate like Romário Reis, T-Rex's quarterback.
Eu conheci o futebol com 14 anos de idade.
I discovered football when I was 14 years old, he says, and that was the first moment in my life that I felt alive.
Alive.
Because with that sport, on that field, he says, I could feel that I was someone. That's because it was a much-needed escape from the violence and poverty of his Amazonian hometown, Manaus.
Tráfico de drogas, assassinato, né?
Drug trafficking, murders.
Yes, murders.
These are some of the things you dealt with growing up?
Yes. Max! Boa!
Now he's giving back, helping the team coach at-risk youth and finishing a degree in psychology. He thinks he'll always be involved in football.
Football is my life.
Yeah.
No, I can't negar, eu não consigo negar isso.
You can't deny it.
On the road to victory!
So you can imagine the excitement when the NFL decided to play its first ever season game in South America last September. Sao Paulo hosted the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles. We spoke with avid Brazilian fans.
American football is better than our football.
Every year we see in the streets some people wearing jerseys and watching the games.
Peter O'Reilly is executive vice president of the NFL.
Brazil's the third largest fan base in the world after the US and Mexico, so 36 million NFL fans in Brazil. We've seen it build over the last decade.
The NFL says there's been a nearly 20% increase in Super Bowl viewership globally in the last 10 years, in markets as far as the UK, Germany, and Australia.
Boom, boom, boom.
Back on the gridiron in Timbó, Breno Takahashi's hope is that the sport continues to grow.
So just because American football may never dethrone soccer here doesn't mean that there can't be a home for both of them.
Of course, I'm not quite sure that we're gonna catch up with the American football in the US, but we can develop something that's entertaining.
Something uniquely American, gaining ground in this corner of southern Brazil and beyond. For CBS Saturday Morning, Manuel Bojorquez, Timbó, Brazil.